What's going on, everyone? We got an interesting article here, and there's a lot to explain in here. Mhm. So, we need to talk about other departments. Would you think Nintendo devs would feel like this? Because this is important to think about. Would you think PlayStation devs feel about this? Would you think Counter-Strike devs, because we talk about exclusivity, because no, I'm going to tell you after we read this. But there's reasons why. But this makes sense. And I wasn't even mad at it when I found that out because, once again, when you're in a field of understanding, you realize, yeah, it makes sense. And this is the headline, as you see right in front of you. Unlike Xbox players, Xbox developers are reportedly over the moon about putting their games on PlayStation. Let me tell you why. Okay, so Nintendo devs would never feel that way because they're so satisfied. We see their numbers. I don't have to keep bringing up their numbers in front of you. And I don't do that to try to like beat down anything. I do that to remind people that how important exclusive power is and how important it is to stick with, your nation, never betray your nation, love your nation, and don't dump off your developers and be a family and a unity of light and protect. Nintendo does not let nobody come in their family and damage anything they've created. Like their family members, their games are their family members. You know what I mean? They're their children. That's what they said. So their identity is very strong. They would not think about saying, I would be happy to put my games over here. No. They already said the day that Nintendo does that, Nintendo is finished. And Sony, they're kind of a hybrid aspect. But do you think they want to do day-to-day? No. You're not going to see no PlayStation developer say, I'm happy to put my games on Xbox. No. The only people that ever did that was Helldivers, but that's not a PlayStation developer. They're independent. See, and that's a live service game. That's the only exception because it's live service, but even then, it's not going to happen. Now, with the Xbox developers, let me help you out here. They're miserable. They're scared, and they're worried. You want to know why they're happy to do that? Because they feel like they're going to get dumped out because things are failing. You feel like your morale is low. You see everybody getting dumped off. You see the company doesn't give a damn about you. You want to be happy to go to a platform that can show you love for something you created. Not, I did all this and then it just dies. Then I'm sitting here and I see people getting laid off. Oh, no, man. They're going to feel terrible when they feel like, oh, put your games on PlayStation. I feel like I can get some life here. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm okay. You see what I mean? There's a different moral, objectified aspect going on here within that branch over in the Xbox world, compared to the PlayStation and compared to the Nintendo and even the Steam, who's even extending out world because they don't feel like they need to worry. But in the Xbox world, you've seen those posts. The morale is at an all-time low. And when the morale is at an all-time low, everything sucks. You see what I mean? Because you're performing with low morality. Morality needs to be high. The moral compass, you see what I mean, of life. Yeah, the nuclear bond, which is not at Xbox. It is numbers, AI feed, data center, garbage, dumping off, fake programs, dumping off, removing, changing so many times. And when you're a developer and you're seeing that and you realize more layoffs are coming, you're like, man, can we that's why I got it. And one guy was, even though I don't agree with that, I'm not going to agree with that team PlayStation and, all that type of stuff. But the thing is, it's like Xbox going out, it actually makes sense because they don't have a choice. And those developers do not want to get dumped off. They would rather say, man, can somebody else come and get me? I'd rather join some team where I can feel like I'm a family there. You see what I'm saying? Because otherwise, no, man, none of that is any good. So that's why they're over the moon and like, yes, please. They want some life. They want some support. Imagine you creating this product and you knew you put everything into it and you knew it was just going to get canned because you're stuck in a dead world. And no matter what you did to dump into something, nothing good is going to happen. No good feelings are going to come. Yeah, it's the worst feeling. So they're ready to go where there's some life at. And that's how anybody would feel in those situations, I'm telling you. So that's the thing. This is why this needs to be talked about. And I tell guys all the time. I tell everybody identity. And, some type of light, some type of welcoming. But in that AI data center, money crunching world, nah. He says it's probably fair to say that while some have welcomed Xbox's new multi-platform approach, I have no problem with it because it's the best remedy. What else are they going to do? It's the best thing. It's the only way to stay alive. That's why I used to say needle in the arm, but that's when I was getting mad because people were being naive. Because I'm like, yes, you need to branch out. You have to cook. A significant chunk of games, mainly those who bought an Xbox, consider console for its exclusive. That's why the headline says, unlike Xbox players, because what did they want? They felt like they were there because it was Team Xbox. Not Team Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and no. Like a kid smooth. You know what I mean? No, man. I thought I was here for Xbox and I wanted to pick a side. I'm not going on the Lakers to say team all these other teams. No, man, I'm all about them. You see what I mean? And by the way, back then I was a Kobe guy. I liked Kobe. But I'm just going to tell you though, like, and rest in peace. Well, I was going to tell you, like, do you think I cared about him going somewhere else? Or wanted to represent? No, dude. You see what I mean? It's that identity. Hey, we're not going to play this game. Everybody knows this. When you got your, like, these Dallas Cowboys, but they're still to this day, don't anything, are still about the Cowboys winning. You see that identity. You play soccer, you got your soccer team, right? You're all about that player all the time. Guess what he represents? An identity there, and it rules the world. You see what I mean? Like a Michael Jordan, he represents the bull. Guys, come on, let's not play stupid. Like I said, identity, quality. Where it's like, yes, it's here, man. Screw every other team. You know what I mean? And it's always worked that way. That's why I say this backward stuff coming in just because somebody's losing and you're trying to like gaslight other people doing that. Let's not play these games, man. You know, you got to side, you know, you got to choose. That's how life is. That's why you have a choice. You got to choose. You got to pick and choose. Not all over the place. No, that's terrible. So we get that idea here. Because the players were about the team. They're about, the Microsoft Corporation messed up so bad, and so did some of the people in the Xbox. You know, Phil Spencer made his mistakes too, admit it, but Don Matrick made the worst franchise mistake of all time. Yeah. So that gives us the understanding here. Not beating down, but saying, let's stop playing games here. You know what I just said. That's why I gave you a good example. So you want your team to win still deep down inside. So that's why we got those who bought an Xbox consoles for exclusives, like Ibarra said. People buy it for exclusives and identity, you know what I mean? Aren't happy about its games finding their way on the PS5. The developers themselves, however, couldn't be happier. But that's different. They're in a different situation. That's their job. That's their career. That's their whole life. They put everything into that. They need to survive. They want to keep going. That's according to Jason Schreier. The Insider, yeah, he's back. Yeah, dunk on them, bro. Dunk on those shots. The Insider was a guest on 404 Media last week, where he revealed that developers working at Xbox Studios are over the moon about putting their games on PlayStation. A lot of game studios are now actually thrilled that they get to release their games on PlayStation, as opposed to the past, where they were really just published games on their own platform, but it's no longer alive. That team is no longer in the league. They're kind of like, you know, the Xbox and the PC, Schreier said. So Xbox devs are very happy about leaving exclusivity behind. It doesn't work. What are you going to do? Sit there? Well, what? There's no market. Game Pass killed it all. You ain't getting no full profit either. You know, like you see, those more sold to where you realize, I got to do this. We got to scrap together. You know what I mean? We got a budget here. We got to make it the best we can. Where Microsoft's like, oh, here's the paycheck. I'm just going to dump it there day one. Don't worry about anything. You're not going to perform at your best like that. All the best developers do not do that. You ain't gonna see it. Nobody in the Nintendo world do that. You're not gonna see GTA do that. None of them. They will say you're crazy. That's why what's his face came out and said the same thing. You got the Cyberpunk devs, because guess what? They're selling 25 million, 35, 40, you know what I mean? They're doing it. They're doing big and they're lighting up the world. They're like, you gonna dump me on a service? Any musician, you gonna dump me on Spotify? They pay me. No, man. I need my concerts. I need this. I'm not gonna make anything on a service like this. Just straight up available day one. I ain't selling no CDs no more either. I ain't selling no copies. I'm not selling millions no more. What I got to do something else. You see what I mean? It's not going to work. So the best ones would never want that. That's only for those that don't have a choice. Like maybe an indie dev coming in. Microsoft, here goes 20 million. You think they probably would get that? No, that's a little bit different, right? You see what I'm saying? So this is just understanding how the game works. So Xbox tested the multi-platform waters in 2024, where it ported Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, and Grounded to PS5. Yeah, because once again, if they would have went with Sony, they would have sold more. That's just how identity works. When you go with Xbox, you're kind of cursed. Even some people, you feel like Bethesda, man, Skyrim sold 50-something million, 60 million. You don't even see them hitting 10 million with Starfield. They tanked massively. Shouldn't have sold out. Clearly, some or all of those games performed well on Xbox's rival platform. As after a gradual tease that anything exclusive to Xbox might be eligible for the PlayStation Port treatment. You know what I find funny? They're not mentioning Nintendo. And I think this is a naive statement because he's like, you know how much you need Nintendo? You're going to sell just as much on there. And you got a fresh new base. And it's on the go. So you might be getting more time on there as well because they're there to play games only, not any other media services, straight video games. Exclusive to Xbox might be eligible for the PlayStation Port treatment. Now anything and everything Xbox publishes will also be on PS5. And Nintendo say it. Seemingly on the same day as those games are available on Xbox in most cases. Certain dominoes needed to fall to confirm that Xbox exclusives are a thing of the past. And now that Halo is coming to PlayStation 5, come on, Katana. Now Nintendo's gonna get you on the go. You're gonna get blown out. Your sales are gonna be amazing. Pretty much all of those dominoes are down. It's gonna be a blowout sale, I'm telling you. Halo campaign evolved. Master Chief, I don't know, he may not like it. A remake of the original game will be released on both Series X, S, and PS5 on the same day. I guarantee you they're making a Switch 2 version. I promise you. I mean Switch 2, by the way, not Switch 1. Halo Studios, but you guys know what I mean. Halo Studios has already confirmed that future Halo projects will be released on PlayStation Beyond Combat Evolved. Yeah, put on that t-shirt. He knew it. He's like, hey man, I'm ready. Screw this. But you should have just finished strong, telling your base you love them and that, man, you should have put on that t-shirt later after that event and saying, look guys, we have to do this. Like, there's a way of doing it, you know what I mean? Look guys, I do not want to do this. I loved you guys for all the support, even though I wasn't originally there with Bungie or whatever. But we're gonna have to put our games on PlayStation, so we're going Team PlayStation, you know what I mean? But the Xbox community, you know, there could have been some nice message there. But when you got the PR doing this, you could tell that Microsoft doesn't care about you like that. They're not respecting your legacy. You know what I mean? So what did they do? They just did it that way. You ended the final event that way, saying, I'm just putting on the shirt. Yeah, man. We have to keep bringing that up. Why are because this is the way they did it. They could have done it better. Why are Xbox Studios so happy about porting their games to PS5? As for why the developers at Xbox Studios are happy about their games being available on PS5, which we knew that Halo was going to PS5. It's not about that. Like I said, it's about the way you did it. There are probably a few reasons. The most obvious reasons are that more people will play their games. Yeah, no developer wants their game to be dead. And in turn, that means those games will make more money. They can make more projects. So nobody cares about giving Microsoft money. I'd rather them go independent somewhere and then support them. At least I'm supporting them independently, not this scumbag company to feed it to the AI and dump them off. Despite already being available on Xbox for years, Forza Horizon 5 shot straight to the top of the PS5 charts. One game, though. When its port launched on PlayStation 5 earlier this year, and it stayed there for a long time. But that's one game. And that's just like you taking your legacy and saying, here, at least we got this one game. You did it one time. After that, you didn't be hitting on number one and sell millions with anything else, because that's how dead your world is. And Forza is the exception, because those developers are top tier and they never fell out because they're that damn good. They're so good that Microsoft couldn't even kill them off. But they did come and kill their Turn 10 studios, part of that. You know what I mean? Because they made one mistake, but it's like, but they've been with you since the OG days. And they've always made really good games, and you're ready to cut them off and give up that fast. You know what I mean? Because they're incapable of neutering anybody. They're incapable of saying, you know what, let's go support these guys more, give them love. Say, come on, I know you guys can do it again. I know you're going to squash on this. I know you're going to smash on this next project. We got you. You know what I mean? You just made one mistake. Nope, didn't do that. I don't know why, because they're soulless and they're pathetic. Not Turn 10, but the suits and the people that don't give a damn about gaming. They gave up that quick, but they were with them from the beginning, all the way back to 2004 or whatever. 20 years. You see what I mean? And that one mistake, though you've had everything good before that, dump them off right after that. Yeah, man, that tells you a lot. Just think about that. No. You'll never see Nintendo do that. You won't even see PlayStation do that. Look at the mistakes Bungie made, but Sony's still like trying to find a use for them in a certain way. Sony doesn't dump off people like that. No. There are also 30% Microsoft profit margin of it all to consider too. All right, let's just finish this. To consider too, Microsoft expects Xbox and therefore everyone attached to Xbox, including its studios and its games they are making, to generate 30% profit. That's a significant uptick. Yeah, they're insane compared to what has been expected of Xbox in the past. The ability to release games on PS5 and therefore sell to a wider audience and to make more money. The only way they can even get remotely close to this, though I don't think they will, is, like I said, to get more greedy. Like, as you see, it's coming. They're going to get more greedy. I promise you, more things are going to go up. Like I said, then you saw that RAM stuff coming, and to fully go on Nintendo Switch 2, which they're going to do. So, and we see right here, make more money without having to spend too much more to making this happen. That's why they're not giving you no deals. Will have helped relieve some of the pressure on Xbox devs with that lofty new target hanging over them and dumping off more people. Simply put, beyond timed exclusives like Forza 6, Xbox exclusives are a thing of the past, and it sounds like everyone on Xbox is very happy with how that's been going so far. You don't have a choice. You have to accept it. So they're happy. They would rather that happen than lose their job, is what I'm saying, and probably be able to go somewhere else. 2026 would be one of the biggest years in Xbox history for tentpole first-party releases. Wait, it's okay. I know what he's saying. And all of them will either be on PS5 right away or shortly after they're released on Xbox. Correct, and Nintendo Switch too, because they got dev kits late. So there we have it. Let me know what you guys think about this. Like I said before, that's just going to happen. And now you guys understand my standpoint on things. It's not to beat down Xbox. No, I was attacking Microsoft. It's just the way they do things. Later, y'all. Peace out. Have a great day. And you know what? I'm not going to say that. Peace out, y'all. Yeah.